Thank you for watching WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. I am at the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy, where CTE teachers are getting ready for the start of another school year, and they've had the pleasure of hearing Mr. Jonathan Edison speak to them today.
Yes,
Jonathan is a former teacher, a former administrator. He's an author. What else do you do, Jonathan?
Oh man, I coach Little League football.
All right.
Flag football.
Very good. Well, tell us a little bit about your mission as you come here to speak to our CTE teachers today.
Part of that mission is just to get them fired up for the school year, to get them to look at themselves, but more importantly, understand that when students come in, they may have some challenges, but that doesn't define who they are. Part of that mission is to get them to say, you know what? Let me focus on all the good things that are happening in my school district. Don't worry about the rest. Focus on that, and then that way we can get the numbers up, get the graduation rate up, and then finally we talked about a system of rating yourself to see where you are, but then see how we can close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. But they're pretty fantastic, so that gap wasn't that wide.
You talk to them about students, and as you mentioned, not knowing what hardships those students are facing. Now, I had a chance to read part of your book. It's outstanding, by the way. It's called Survival Mode, and it talks about your upbringing, and you had some crisis situations as well for a long time.
Yeah, you know, when people first meet me and they hear me speak or see something about me, the assumption is, oh, this guy's had a great life, everything's been fantastic, silver spoons. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Graduated high school at 1.6, did my first year of college with a 0.82, had a lot of challenges coming up because of my mother's addiction to drug and alcohol, my father leaving and being raised by my grandmother, who was, you know, a little older when she took on the task of raising me, but then taking those challenges and turning them into opportunities and making it out to Harvard University and all the success in between that. And my message to people is that you got to know that most people are in survival mode. The quest is, can you make a plan? Can you follow the plan? And then can you get out? So then you can go back and teach others how to make it out.
You actually benefited from taking CTE courses, and that's
Absolutely.
what you try to stress to these teachers, that what they're doing is vital to the success of many of those students.
Yes, sir. CTE in Detroit, it was Go Lightly Educational Center. I was in the meat cutting program. The first thing that helped me, the leverage that provided me, was the 3 grades. I got all A's in meat cutting, and all F's and everything else. But, you know, but that allowed me to have some great balance and great leverage. But the skill set that I learned that next summer, even though I was living in my aunt's basement, I was able to pay my aunt and pay for my bills and do what I needed to do because I got a job at Bob and Don's Meat Market. Big shout out to Bob and Don's. And it was fantastic. I got to interact with the public. I got to do exactly what I was doing, what I was learning in my CTE class. It made all the difference. And I would still be into it. I'm just clumsy now, and knives and stuff. You know, I can't do it, but fantastic learning experience for me.
A lot of people might be wondering, you grew up in a rough neighborhood, you had those problems, and look at you today. How did you do it?
Well, you know, when you see me, you see an amalgamation of people. You know, it's not just me. You see my grandmother, you see my former 5th grade teacher, you see my kids, you see my wife, you see angels that I talk about in my book who've helped me along the way. You know, a lady, when I was at Wayne State University, I did not have tuition, and it was like a day before the cutoff, and she saw what I was doing, and she just paid it. Never asked me to return it. She told me to pay it forward. You know, and so when you see me, that's what you see. So I don't take the credit that, oh, look at me, I'm so fantastic. I'm saying, look at all the people who have helped me, because I made a commitment to try to have this standard of excellence, no matter what the level is. You know, when I was working at Bob and Don's, or when I was waiting tables to pay for college, it was a level of excellence. And when you do that, the universe sends you what you need along the way.
Very, very good stuff. Jonathan Edison, thank you so much for being here, and we're now going to show you some highlights of Jonathan Edison's talk with our CTE teachers today. Remember, the title of the book is Survival Mode. I encourage you to read that as well. Let's take a look at Jonathan.
But just know this, that when you say nice things to people, and those people look up to you. Oh man, you are in the driver's seat. If you don't know that, even if they get it wrong, you have to be a transformational leader. I'll show you an example. Here's how my station went. You run 10 yards to the first cone. You make a hard right. You stop on the dime at the second cone. You turn around. You put your hands up. If I can get a 5-year-old to do that, about time he turns around and puts his hands up, I can teach at the other station. They're teaching just throw. Just throw it. Just throw it. These 5-year-olds, just throw it. Just throw it. Just throw it. Just throw it. Which way? That way. Just throw it that way, okay? If I can teach that, we got it. So we doing the drills, and little kid came up. His name was Desmond. Now, Desmond didn't have any teeth, had a little mohawk. And he said, hey, coach, how you doing, coach? I said, you ready, boy? Yeah, coach, I'm ready. Tell me what to do, coach. I said, okay, Desmond, on the whistle, son, I want you to run from this cone to that cone. When you get to that cone, I want you to make a hard right. And then when you get to the next cone, I want you to stop on the dime, turn around, put your hands up. Can you handle that, Desmond? Yeah, coach, I got it. Okay, here we go. Ready? He gets to the first cone, but then he keeps running, keeps running, keeps running, keeps running, keeps running, keeps running. I said, Desmond, 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 come back, man. I want you to notice this, folks. Notice this, educators. Notice this, pituitary gland increasers. He came back, and I said, Desmond, oh, man, that was fantastic. But I want you to run it a different way. I said, Desmond, let me ask you something, man. Are those special shoes you got on? Yeah, coach, they got lights on the bottom, coach. They make me so fast. I said, well, come on, man. I want you to make a hard right. A hard right, Desmond. Okay, coach, I got it. On the whistle. Boop! He gets to the cone. He stops, turns around and says, now, coach, you said a hard right? A hard right. Yeah, Desmond. Okay. I said, Desmond, listen, the way you ask questions, son, that's fantastic. Come on, get back on the line. Okay, coach. All right. He gets to the cone because remember, when he asked me that, he was facing me. He gets to the cone, shoo, takes off, top speed. I said, oh, Desmond, man, you are so fast. OMG, you the man. That was fantastic. But I need you to go to the other right, Desmond, to the other right. Oh, coach, you mean that right? Yeah, coach. These are 5-year-olds. So we're out there. He goes, boop! He makes the hard right. He gets to the cone, and then he starts doing this. I said, Desmond, what you doing, son? Coach, I don't see the dime. I'm looking for the dime, coach. I said, Desmond, man, that is fantastic. Let me get a dime out of my ashtray. My bad. I forgot the dime. I went to the ashtray. I put the dime down there. I said, Desmond, man, you are amazing. Now, at this time, we had been about 1:15 just on Desmond. Okay, Desmond, here we go. Boop! He runs. He gets to the second cone. He stops on the dime, and he turns around, and then he says, now, coach, when I turn around, what should I do? And I said, just put your hands up, son. He said, okay, coach. Now, at this time, Pop says, hey, coach, do you mind if I run it with him one time? And I said, well, I don't, but you got a breathing machine connected to you. I don't know if that's a good idea. No, I got it. I'm a military man. I was in Vietnam. I can do anything. I said, okay, get on the line. So he takes off the pump and puts the pump down. It's a pump. Right, the green pump. People are something else. So he locks arm with Desmond, gives me the signal, boop, he runs. Boom, they get to the second cone, and they throw their hands up. I said, Desmond, you ready, son? Pop put his breathing machine back on. We ready? Desmond's father's over here, mother's over here. Pop, he ready? Okay, Desmond, here we go. Now it's dark. It's dark now. Lights are coming on. Boop! Runs to the first cone, makes a hard right. Gets to the next cone, stops on a dime, turns around, puts his hands up, and he gave me the eye, as if to say, throw the ball, coach. Shoo. I lofted the ball up. It's spiraling through the air. His dad is watching. Pop is breathing. His mom is watching. Great anticipation. Desmond has both of his hands up like I instructed. The ball is beginning to descend right into his hands. And then all of a sudden, bam! It hit him in the face. And he let out a yelp like he had been shot. His mother runs on the field. Oh, my baby! Oh, my God! His father runs on the field. What the blankety blank is wrong with you? Why you didn't catch that blankety blank ball? That's why I ain't with you, your mama right now. You're crazy. Both of y'all are crazy. I said, man, take it easy. He's 5. We're not playing for money. There's no professionals out here. I said, everybody back up. Give him some room. Let him breathe. I said, Desmond, man, turn her over. He was out of there. I said, look at me, son. I said, Desmond, you can stop crying anytime you want. No, I can't. I said, Desmond, tell me what happened, son. The ball hit me in the face. I said, Desmond, stand up, son. Let me talk to you. Oh. See, that's how he gets in tension at home. Oh, the ball hit me right in the face. I said, Desmond, let me ask you a question. Do you know what the word proximity means? So his father like, man, what are you talking? Shh. From the east side of Detroit, brother, you better back up. I'm a nice guy. I live out here in the neighborhood suburbs. Better be with a switch on you. I said, Desmond, do you know what proximity means? He said, no, I don't know what approximation means. I don't know what that means. I said, put your hands up, Desmond. He said, okay. I said, now point to your face. Okay. I said, put your hands up. All right. Point to your face. Okay. I said, put your hands up. Look at your hands. Okay. Now point to your face. I said, that's proximity, Desmond. The proximity from your hands to your face is close. What do you mean? Desmond, when the ball hit you in the face, that was fantastic. Oh, was it? I said, yes, it was. What was it, coach? Because you were close. Oh my God, Desmond, you were that close from your face to your hands is that much. It is? Yes. I said, well, we can close it down for the day. We'll try again. No, coach. I want to get back on the line. Okay. Put him back on the line. Boop! Threw the ball another 5 or 6 times. Didn't catch it. Didn't catch it. Didn't catch it. Didn't catch it. About the 15th try, another 35 minutes in, I threw the ball. Desmond looked at the ball. He jumped up. He caught it, brought it down on his mohawk, whipped it around to the front, and said, Coach, I did it. I said, okay, we can go home. Then Desmond's father said, hey, Coach, you know, I used to play a little bit in high school. You mind if I do it one time? I said, no. Get on the line. Anyone familiar with the term hot sauce? I put a little hot sauce on that one. Boop! Shoo! 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 Bam! Hit him in the face. So he's down. Desmond runs over and said, Dad, that was fantastic. You were in close proximation. True story. What's the point of this story? What's the moral of this story? The moral of the story is this. Hammers don't work. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to know this. And I'm giving it to you from a scientific point of view. Studying human performance at the highest place in the land, in my approximation, studying the psychology of human conditioning, that hammers don't work. The challenge is, I believe everyone in the room has experienced a hammer, or 2, or 10, or 50, or 60 in their life. Yes? Yes. And what these people, the coaches, you're going to do this drill until you puke. What? That doesn't work. I'm going to be sicker when I'm done. My father, military man, he made me peel and I talk about it in the book, probably 10 sacks of potatoes. I'm going to teach you something. No, you're not. You're tearing up my hands. You're not teaching me anything. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, hammers don't work as educators. You cannot yell or bully somebody into performance. Hammers don't work in your personal life. Hammers don't work in your marriage. Well, it might. I don't know what kind of marriage you have. But hammers, listen, we are all emotional creatures. And if you were to liken what it looks like, imagine a glass case. That represents your emotions. And the moment you take a hammer to that glass case, it's done for. Notice what I kept saying. Desmond, that was fantastic. I didn't know it would turn into a part of my presentation because I keep my professional, what I do, and my personal life separate. I see a lot of my friends put their kids on Facebook, and I don't do that. I think people are crazy out here, and they'll kidnap your kids and stuff. I don't put my kids on Facebook. Look at little Julian, got the address of their house and stuff in the picture. No, not me. So I keep that separate. I never knew that it would turn into something that could transform someone's idea, change your perspective. As an educator, you got to know. You'll get a higher performance if you adopt the philosophy of, wow, watch this. That was fantastic, but let's figure out how we can do it a different way. Versus, you remember this, when teachers and stuff used to come to your table and just, what is this? Do it over. How many of you seen that in your lifetime? Yeah. You see, everyone's looking this way, but if you ever take a moment and look around the room, you'll see a lot of nodding. You'll see a lot of nodding, which means you've had that experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be the most phenomenal teacher that you can. And the cornerstone to that is understanding and knowing that the majority of people that come through the room are in survival mode. And they have a pituitary gland. But you have the power to impact that gland, to make them better emotionally, to give them the courage and the confidence to keep moving, to do something that they never thought they could do.